Okay, back again after an extended leave again. I gotta make more videos. People are clamoring for them. I hear it all the time. When's the next video coming out? Well, sometimes I get busy. I do actually have. The reality of it is, I actually do have a music school that has about 500 students a week, and we have about 26 teachers. So if you're in the Illinois northwest suburban area, come check out the Displaying School of Music. Heck, you could even have a lesson with me if you want. But if you don't want to, you can have a lesson with one of the other 25 teachers at the school, and either one of them are any one of them highly qualified professionals. So life just happens, and sometimes I really like to do 2 videos a month or something like that, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. So, but I had a teacher who is giving theory lessons to a student. He's just coming in for theory, which is very cool. Everyone should understand basic theory, no matter what instrument you're learning, drums, piano, piccolo, whatever you're learning, you should have a concept of basic theory. So you drummers out there that didn't attend like a formal music school and just took lessons, you may never had any theory training, but you should get some. And you could, Alfred makes a pretty good basic theory book. Musicians Institute has a theory book. It's a little more intense, and it includes a lot more. But the I think it's the Hal Leonard or the Alfred book of the theory. I think they have a book 1, 2, and 3. Triads, all kinds of things that drummers don't deal with. Obviously, you don't have to be a genius on theory, but it's good if you know something, right? So you should, to be able to communicate with other musicians and have a basic understanding. I'm certainly not able to communicate about the circle of fifths and all kinds of things like that with a piano teacher or a guitar teacher, but I know what they are, so and they don't know probably much about paradiddles and ratomacues, but it's just good to be knowledgeable. How's that? Okay. Anyway, we're going to talk about something. So she's doing this theory, and she told me, this was some time back actually, about she's going to get ready to teach some polyrhythms. And as some of you who follow my channel, and by the way, if you don't follow my channel, right now you should be clicking like and not describe. You could describe my channel if you want. And I hope you describe it as entertaining. Like and subscribe to the channel. We have well over 1,000 subscribers, which is kind of cool, and I thank each and every one of you. But anyway, I don't even know where I was going anymore. But she was talking about polyrhythms. It was some time ago, and some of you who follow the channel, who have seen some of my odd time signature things and how I really enjoy groupings and of notes and things. But those aren't polyrhythms per se, and I think that's a sort of people get confused by what exactly a polyrhythm is. And I see people on YouTube explaining polyrhythms, and I've even, sadly enough, caught some teachers, drum teachers in the past, explaining polyrhythms to students that couldn't be more inaccurate. So a lot of people think of polyrhythms as, or you call them polymeters, okay? Polyrhythms or polymeters as a subdivision of the basic pulse, and not 2 separate pulses or entities. So that's the distinction. So other people get confused and think polyrhythms are odd meters, right? Or odd time signatures, or I'm playing in 7. So listen to this polyrhythm as they play just a typical groove in 7/4. That's not a polyrhythm. Again, so the literally, polyrhythm literally means many rhythms. And I'm sure if you look it up in Webster or some different dictionaries, they have some various terms. But basically, that's literally what it is. It's many rhythms, and it's commonly referred to as 2 or more patterns played simultaneously against each other. Okay, so that's what's happening. We've got 2 or more patterns, 2 or more played up against each other. Okay, is the polyrhythm. Okay, so or 2 meters. It could be 2 meters too. You can think of 2 meters. I don't want to try to. I don't want to exclude anybody who's going to say you should have mentioned. But the main thing to remember is it's 2 meters or 2 or more rhythms played against each other, and it's not just playing in an odd time signature. However, polyrhythms can be within an odd time signature. You can put polyrhythms within a 1916 groove or a 7/8 groove, absolutely. But it's not the 1916 or the 7/8 that make up the polyrhythm. It's the 2 rhythms or meters played simultaneously within that. So now that most of the beginning students have turned the video off and said, I don't know what you're talking about, let's try to get back to, this is going to be more of an intermediate video. I don't think polyrhythms would be introduced to the beginning student. I don't think there's any reason to. And I don't play a lot of polyrhythms, which is another thing that people might find. I personally don't really even like polyrhythms. I'll tell you the one thing I do like within polyrhythms, and that's why the one thing I'm going to teach you, the most important thing to me, is that you're able to count both the top and the bottom rhythm. Super important. I was never taught that. I was taught polyrhythms maybe like a lot of people was taught them. Sort of like, oh, I'm playing 6/4, which is sort of like 16th note triplets over 4. You could think of that, that's 6/4, or half note triplets over the pulse, the quarter note pulse in 4. The 3/4, right? So we're going to talk about those. We're not going to talk about like 5/4 or some more complex things, maybe at a later video. But for this, we're going to keep it simple with 6/4, okay, and 3/4. And it's super important to be able to count the pulse of 3 and the pulse of 4, the pulse of 6 and the pulse of 4 within the polyrhythm. Because one of the things that I like that you see bands do, and Mike Stern has done it a lot, and Chick Corea does it occasionally, when they're playing, they'll play between the two rhythms, between the 2 meters. So if they're playing in 4 and then they start playing this polyrhythm up top, or the 6 pulse, then they'll switch and they'll make 6 the primary pulse, and they'll go back and forth between them. So it's super important to be able to count each pulse, the 6 and the 4, the top and the bottom rhythm, okay? And I'll explain that in a minute. So, and things can get complex fast, but I'm going to try to, I'm doing my best to keep it simple, because there's a lot of misinformation about polyrhythms and what they are, and then about how to use them practically. So this is not a video if you want to learn how to play like Vinnie Colaiuta or some really intense Indian music or some Latin music, that they use this stuff, but they really take it to a whole nother thing. Zappa, classical music, lots of different polyrhythmic passages and things, complex stuff. This is going to be in its basic form, so then you understand. So you already understand that it's 2 meters or 2 rhythms played simultaneously, right? That's it. That's the polyrhythm. So let's demonstrate the polyrhythm. The difference, one of the things about drumming is we have these 4 limbs, right? And we're going to need to use the 4 limbs in all variations to get the most out of the polyrhythm, to get our independence the best it can be. So if you just learn it one way, that's great. But then if you're learning 6 in this hand against 4 in this hand, well then let's switch it up and do 6 in this hand and 4 in this hand. And how about 6 in this hand and 4 on the hi-hat, or 4 on the hi-hat and 6 on the bass drum, or 3 with your left hand and 4 with your bass drum. Whatever the combination, you should do all these variations of them, and I'll try to do some of them. And then of course you can also subdivide the different meters. So you can take the 6 on top and you could assign 16th notes to each quarter note, right? So then you're getting 24 notes over, or 24 notes while you're playing under the 4, or vice versa. Anyway, I'll play it, and hopefully it makes more sense. And of course I'll have some stuff on the screen to help simplify it for your eyes and your ears. But so the basic thing, and I'm most likely going to make some mistakes, because like I said, this is not, I don't practice polyrhythms much. but just over the years, you get used to doing certain things. So we're going to practice. I like to split the sound sources because I think it's good to hear different tonal things while you're playing them to lock in. But again, the thing you're going to remember is I'm going to shift back and forth between 6. We're going to start off with 6/4. So I'm going to switch off the counting between counting the 6 pulse and counting the 4. Okay, and we're going to switch back and forth. Super important. That's the thing you want to be able to do so you can easily transition between the meters, okay, or the rhythms or whatever. The polyrhythm. You can transition between them. Okay, so if we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 here, we're going to have our first polyrhythm, 6/4. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Oops, already made a mistake. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's count this hand. So we'll go back. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. So now I did the 6 here, I did the 4 here. Well, let's do it with the bass drum now. So we got to do all these variations. So now we'll take the left hand, keep it on the snare, we'll play 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. This hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Both hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. How about our friend the hi-hat? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay? And then I guess I should try it the opposite way. All right, so this was 6. Was this 6? This is 4. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, harder. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so there you go. So you work out all these variations, okay? Hi-hat, bass drum. I could have did hi-hat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. I mean, so what? As many variations as you can do, right? You work them out. Okay, so that's 6/4. So now we have to think about 3/4, okay? And another way to think about things is 3/4. A lot of people, people who teach polyrhythms a lot, they think of it a little differently. They think of 3/4 of a beat over 1, and then 6/4. Some say like 1.5 beats against 1. So that these are different ways of thinking about the rhythm. Sometimes it helps people. I think I'm going to sneeze, and I don't edit. Wow, that was a good one. So anyway, again, there are different ways of thinking about it. You think about it the best way that works for you. But again, so 3/4, some people think of it as 3/4 of a beat to 1. 6/4, 1.5 beats against 1. So when you think of 6/4, obviously the 6 is moving faster. When you think of 3/4, the top number, the 3, is going to move slower. So 3/4. Some people that helps. I don't know. It's just I'm giving you information again. Do with it what you'd like. But I have heard people say that really helps them with more complex pieces as they're reading it and they see it coming up, that their mind can adjust to, all right, we're going to slow this pattern down. You know, if you were doing a polyrhythm of 5/4, obviously that 5 is slightly ahead of the 4 and things. So they, you know, everybody's mind is a little different. They think of it different. So the other thing about the 6/4, I'll touch on it real briefly because it's a little more. So you can obviously, like I said before, you can then now take, you could take the top line, let's just say the 6. You could do this other ways, but let's just say we're going to take the 6 and we're going to subdivide that up. Right now we have 6 quarter notes, right? Let's just say against 4 quarter notes. Now we're going to take those 6 quarter notes, the meter, the 6 part, and we're going to subdivide those, let's just say, into 8th notes. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to make these 8th notes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. And it's good to, when you're learning them, to practice, sort of have that downbeat sort of so you can feel the pulse. And then you can do the same thing with 16th notes. Maybe. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's the 8th notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Okay, got a little squirrely in there, but you get the idea. So that was the subdivisions of the taking the quarter, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, turning it into 8ths, turning it into 16ths. Okay, so there's lots of places to go, right? And then you could break them down. You know, you don't have to do that. And then you could play different. You know, obviously you could subdivide the bottom part, right, and change that. And you could groupings of 3. You can make triplets instead of 6. But that's the main thing is we're doing the 6/4 in its simplest form. Now 3/4. So now we're gonna start off with, I don't know how I'm gonna start off. I'm just gonna start playing, and we're gonna do 3. Let's start here with the quarters, right? So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, and so on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, so you get the idea. Same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and so on. Okay, so and then you would do with your feet like we did before. So there you have it, and it's. I think its basic form is the polyrhythm, the 2 meters. We're playing against each other 2 rhythms, playing 3/4, 6/4, and then you can subdivide the quarter note, you can subdivide the 3/4 also, exactly like I did with 6/4. So there you go. Work on it. But it's the counting. It's the moving of the counting that to me is most important. and you'll see that it's I think you'll find most people find that it's harder than they think. It should be easy, but because I don't think your brain's used to dividing those rhythms up in two separate meters, it makes it's weirder than you think. Let me just say that. So when you do it, but you really have to count both top and bottom rhythms and transition back and forth. To me, as a drummer, to be able, I think, to get the concept of the movement, depending on which top or bottom rhythm that you're going to be focusing on. So you want to be able to move back and forth. Super important to be able to do that. But those are, so there they are. Those are the most common 6/4, 3/4. Like I said, 5/4. There are lots. There are others, obviously, but and listen to great sax players and stuff. They do a lot of. I mean, when you hear the melody lines and over the bar lines, and they do a lot of polyrhythmic groupings. I don't never played the sax, but if you've ever looked at a score of any kind, a chart where they have the written out of the solo or whatever, you can see these groupings of against the 2 meters and then when you listen, it's an obvious, oh yeah, that I get that. Just like you can hear it rhythmically, you can hear it there. So it's a good idea to listen to. I find it. I like listening to sax players improvise and move their way around really effortlessly. It seems like. I'm sure other people do it as well. Like I said, classical music does it a lot, but Indian music. So there you have it. There's my polyrhythm video, and again, just remember 2 different rhythms, 2 or more rhythms played simultaneously or against each other. It is not an odd time signature. You're not. This is not. I'm not playing a polyrhythm when I'm playing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1. That's not a polyrhythm. That's just a groove in 7. And I probably will use that groove in 7 a lot more than a polyrhythm, but like anything else, explore things, right? You once you get to a point where you've got a real good foundation of things, you move to the next level, right? And maybe you've always been interested in polyrhythms. So there you have it. 3/4 or 3/4 beats to 1, 6/4 or 1.5 beats against 1. However you want to think about it, and hopefully I'm back with you before like the fall. You know what I'm saying? But send me a little blurb if you got any questions. I will have, like I said, some stuff up there to help out while I'm playing, and I apologize for the mistakes wherever they were made, and there's always some. We try not to edit unless someone walks down here. And I have to make an edit, which no one walked down here today. Practice, practice, practice. There are a couple good polyrhythm books. I have one right here. Polyrhythms, The Musician's Guide by Mike Magadini. Kind of been around a long time. I don't really know Mike Magadini, but I've seen his name on a lot of drum books and things. So, but there are other ones, obviously, but that's a pretty good one. You know why it's a good one? Because it's the definitive guide to understanding and mastering polyrhythms while enhancing rhythmic versatility. That's why. This is the book I usually use for students who are interested in polyrhythms. So if you are interested, but it's a good thing to go over with a teacher because even the book is a little vague, and it gets confusing for everybody. So then you could graduate and go listen to Vinny or Terry Bozzio or Bozio play the Black Page or something, and then really get discouraged. But it all started with 6/4 or 3/4 or something, and then we branch off from there. So practice, practice, practice. Polyrhythms love them, learn them, and then rarely play them. Because we are the mole people. If you don't know that reference, go back and watch that video from about 2 years ago. See you later.